So good morning again. My name is Britta. I did the paper together with Vink from Stellenbosch University. And we analyzed the impact of annual weather changes on yields and the distribution of grape varieties in different wine production areas of South Africa. And this is my outline. I have a short or an introduction as well covering my panel data. I will briefly say something about my literature and the model applied, and then I come to the fixed effect regressions and the results. So maybe you know from the Stellenbosch conference, the wine regions of South Africa. If you want to know more about this region, ask Nick in the break, because I can't really talk about it now due to the 10 minutes I have to talk. And what is maybe important is that South Africa is at the southern boundary of commercial grape growing. And here are some statistics of the South African wine industry. Maybe I can stress that exports were growing tremendously during the last years. So I directly would like to say something about my data. I have a panel. I got data from 9 different weather stations covering the 9 different main grape production areas in South Africa. And so I got average temperatures, maximum, minimum temperatures. And this temperature is air temperature. I would have liked to get soil temperature as well, but that was not possible. I could not get the data. I got data on rainfall and radiation. And I split it, the whole period, in a winter period, a growing period, and a harvest period. And I got from the South African wine industry statistics as well data on yields. I now will show you 10 different grapes, but I have data on each of the grapes grown there. I have data on hectare, export prices, age of wines, and so on. And I covered the years 2001 to 13. And what you can see here is, this is just an example for Chenin Blanc and Cabernet Sauvignon, that the yields per hectare, as they depend on weather conditions, that they really vary a lot from year to year. But what is amazing is that you can as well see that there's a big difference here between the South African regions. If you, for example, have a look here at the yields per hectare for Chenin Blanc in the Orange River region, or here in the Stellenbosch region, there's a really huge difference when you compare the different wine production, grape production areas. When you have a look at the weather data, if you have a look here, that's the winter, that's the growing period. You see as well there are huge differences in the levels in different regions. So the winter temperature, the growing temperatures, they fluctuate a lot during the years, but you see a big difference again between the South African production areas. And the same holds for the harvest time. If you compare here the different minimum and maximum temperatures in the different wine regions, you as well, again here, you can see Orange River is always quite high, with high temperatures all the time. And you have other regions with much lower temperatures. When it comes to the data on the rainfall, it's again very interesting that there are big differences between the regions. And this is the average rainfall for the whole period, 2001 to 2013. But you can see that there are regions like Britta and Stellenbosch with more rainfall, even if during harvest time it is quite dry everywhere. But in the winter and growing period, you have again a difference between different areas, and you see that you as well have fluctuation during the years 2001-2013. So the last weather slide is the slide on radiation. Here you can't see these big differences. So you see they are quite similar, but fluctuations are there as well. And so we assumed that there are weather fluctuations. They impact on the yields per hectare. But as you have these huge differences in the different regions of South Africa, this should as well impact on the distribution of grape varieties in the different regions. And that's why we were interested in finding out if there's a different impact on different grape varieties in the different regions. I will skip this literature slide. Maybe I only stress that there's hardly literature dealing quantitatively with the impact of weather on yields in South Africa. And I applied an extended version of the Ricardian approach and a fixed effect regression with regional fixed effects in order to maybe control for regional fixed effects like soil features, so that I had my weather variables impacting on the yields per hectare for all of the grape varieties I had. And so this is already a slide on my results. As you can see here, that's only an example. These are the results for 5 white varieties: Chenin Blanc, Colombard, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, and Semillon. And you can see that here, especially rising winter temperatures have a negative impact on the yields measured in hectare per tons, but that you as well have an impact of maximum and minimum harvest temperatures, or here of rainfall in the growing and the harvest period. And when it comes to the red varietals, that's as well an example: Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinotage, Merlot, Shiraz, and Ruby Cabernet. You see, for example, a big difference between the red and the white varietals, because here the rising winter temperatures don't harm there are no significant effects on the red varietals, but you could see that there were significant effects on the white varietals. And so we had a lot of significant results. As I told you, these are only examples because I have more grape varieties. And okay, that's a fancy slide to try to summarize all these effects, but I will skip this as well, otherwise it will take me 3 more minutes. Maybe I come to these significant results. We found out that the impact of weather is different for red and white grapes, and as well different for the different varieties. And for example, white varietals like lower winter temperatures, and if the winter temperatures rise, this impacts negatively. And there are some more significant results, but what we then did next, I think that's quite interesting, is that we again tried to match all our significant results with the weather characteristics of each region in order to find out, are there comparative advantages for a certain grape variety in a certain region, in order maybe to recommend to switch to certain varieties, for example, in Stellenbosch, or to switch to a certain variety in Orange River or Oliphant River. And we wanted to find out if the current distribution of grape varieties is according to our results or not, or if there are maybe other factors that impact on the distribution of the distribution of grape varieties. And again, I just want to show you 2 production areas now. This is Stellenbosch, and this is just an example for the winter temperatures. As we found out, as you can see, there's a negative impact of rising winter temperatures for the white varietals, but not for the red ones. And so you would assume that in Stellenbosch they grow more red varietals if they really adopt to this weather impacts. And we could see it for most of the regions that the distribution is according to the results we had. So they seem to react on these weather changes quite much. And you see here, for example, that they not only grow more red varietals, but that the trends are quite positive for Shiraz or Merlot. But there's a negative trend, for example, for Chenin Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc did not fit when we only had a look at the winter temperatures, but as the average rainfall was decreasing in the growing period, that again fitted to one of our significant results. And so we did some kind of matching between our results and the distribution of grape varieties in the different regions. The same for Oliphant River. According to our results, we assumed that they grow more white and less red varietals, and this was true. And again, you see a trend towards less Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon, for example, and a trend towards white varietals on the other hand. And this was according to our results as well. And because we had some input, of course, from colleagues, they asked me, what about prices? And I just want to show you this short slide. We then had a look at prices, and these are the prices that they get for the deliveries to producer sellers by members. That's for Savis data as well. And you could see that there was no significant impact of prices they get for the grapes on their decisions to grow a variety in a certain region, because otherwise they would have all gone for those varieties with rising prices, or they would have switched to those with the highest prices. But you could not see this at all. And when you look at the exports, but these are not export of grapes, of course, this is only export of wines of certain varietals, you as well could see that there are some varietals that grew tremendously, like Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Sauvignon Blanc, but there were some regions that that even if these exports were rising a lot, they did not go for these varietals at all. So they reacted more on the weather conditions. And so these are the final results, that weather has a different impact on yields for different grape varieties in South Africa, that each production area has a comparative advantage for certain grape varieties, but still can grow a wide range of grapes. That maybe it's important that growers must be aware of their different comparative advantages when deciding on uprooting and planting, and there's a lot of uprooting and planting going on at the moment. And we think that the climatic trends will impact on the distribution of the grape varieties in South African production areas, but they have the advantage, they don't have something like here in France, this d'origine contrôlée, or I don't know the name. Appellation contrôlée d'origine. They don't have something like this, and so they have the opportunity to move to new territories with maybe better climate conditions for certain varieties. So I will skip this. Thank you for listening.